And welcome back, and you'll see I have another magic video. So I did a magic video early, I believe it was yesterday actually, talking about the promos that got revealed for Ravnica Allegiance, the next set in Magic Gathering, the next set in the Ravnica block. Well, it turns out that there is anyway. There was a few more promos, but we actually did get more revealed today. We got a couple more promos. We got the trailer that dropped today. And we got one of the first mechanics revealed for Ravnica Allegiance. And I say that because I saw Ravnica Allegiance mechanics, I'm like, okay, we're getting them all. But the sons of bitches decided to do something quite clever. It seems that they're going to be revealing the Ravnica Allegiance spoilers one a day for the remaining of each day this week. And damn it if that isn't clever. I'll give them props for that. But first, we do have a couple cards to go over here. So right at the bat, we do have a new promo. Just to go over a couple of the promos again, just to reiterate the point of the promos. I did these yesterday, but I'll just talk about them again real quick. We have the Haunt of the High Tower, a 3/3, 2 black, 4 of any color vampire legendary creature. It's actually mythic rare. With flying lifelink, attacks, a player discards a card, and whenever a card from an opponent goes anywhere, or from anywhere to the graveyard, it gets a +1 counter. I already explained that I really like the card. I think it becomes ridiculous really fast. Your life's going to go just crazy. Rakdos Firewheeler, the first in that double cycle, 2 black, 2 red in this case, 4/3. Enters the battlefield, deals 2 damage to target opponent, so it's already a 4/3 with a shock ability, and does 2 damage to up to 1 target creature or planeswalker. So you're automatically dealing effect damage plus combat damage to a creature or planeswalker. Great card. Similar Ascendancy, 1 blue, 1 green, enchantment rare. You may pay 1 green, 1 blue, and 1 of any color to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or you control. When you put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, put that many growth counters on this card. If you have 20 or more growth counters, you win the game. But that has to be at the beginning of your upkeep. I like the card. It's shenanigan-y. It's wacky. You actually do see the guy on this card art in the trailer later on. I'm pretty certain that's him. He's got big crab arms on his shoulders. And the other cards we had that were already revealed were Light Up the Stage, Spectacle, 1 red, normal casting cost, 1 red, 2 of any color for sorcery, uncommon. Exile the top 2 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. Growth Spiral, 1 blue, 1 green, draw a card, put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. Instant, and Mortify gets a reprint. So ultimately, I like those cards. They're pretty solid cards. But we do have a couple extra promos that got spoiled today. We have Gate Colossus, which will be great for when I make my Gate deck. It is a 8/8 construct artifact creature, uncommon, 4/8. This spell costs 1 less for each gate you control, which technically speaking, I mean, in just one of these sets, it would be so low as to cost 3. In a Gate deck, which would be what I put this in, you could basically cast this thing for free, honestly. But this card cannot be blocked also by creatures of power 2 or less, meaning cannot be chump blocked. You need to block it with something with some meat on it. And whenever a gate enters the battlefield under your control, you may put Gate Colossus from your graveyard to the top of your library. In the deck that it's supposed to be in, a Gate deck, it's a good card. Hell, even in the pre-release, if you're in 2 different colors, which you normally would be, that means it's not for each different gate you control. It's for each gate you control. If you have at least 2 to 3 gates, that means this is now actually a 8/8 with that can't block ability for about 6 or 5. I was going to say 7 or 5. I stuttered there a bit. About 5 for an 8/8. That's still playable. So I actually dig that card, but it'll be going in my Gate deck. That's where it's going. We also got some actual promo lands, which is kind of cool. For respective colors, you have, and they each have their guild symbol, like the Orzhov. Well, not exactly the symbol, but they have elements of the symbol in them. These are promo lands, so you're not going to get these in packs, unfortunately. But you have like the Azorius island and plains. You have the Orzhov swamp and plain, so forth and so on, and they all look cool. They all, honestly, I kind of like how the Rakdos looks almost piratey on some level. The Gruul looks pretty. I like the way the Gruul looks. The Simic is really interesting looking. But yeah, that's how that looks. Then we have Lazav, or we have another card. It's additional. The stores can hold events on Ravnica weekend that are more competitive, much like store championships. Top finishers can pick up this new version of Lavina, and it is Lavina Azorius Renegade, a 2/2 creature for 1 blue and 1 white, legendary human soldier. Each opponent can't cast non-creature spells with converted mana cost greater than the number of lands that player controls. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. This is a unique card. And the reason I say this is a unique card is because, first off, that first ability is really weird. It can't cast non-creature spells. Now, if you look at the sets, or the guilds in the set, the closest thing to a spell-heavy guild we have left in the set, honestly, might be Orzhov. Other than that, it'd be either Orzhov, maybe Rakdos, and that's pushing it. Because Gruul is severely creature-heavy. Simic's also a creature-heavy guild. Orzhov is a kind of weird in-between one. But it's that second ability also that kind of makes me wonder about the guild mechanic for Azorius. Because clearly, Lavina is on the run. Dovin Bond has taken over the guild. We know that for a fact now because on the Planeswalker decks, we have Dovin Bond. But Dovin Bond has taken over the guild. I don't know if she would even be considered the guild champion in this case, or the second in command at this point, because she's a renegade. So I'm wondering, because she's a renegade, if her abilities are not tailored to, or are tailored to counteract her own guild's abilities. So does Azorius maybe have something that reduces casting cost? I don't know, because I don't think that would make sense for Azorius. Azorius is more about law and order and control than anything else. But who knows? Maybe we'll find out. I mean, there's got to be something that's going on with that, because that's honestly two weird abilities. There has to be something in this set that would allow you to cast things for lower costs. I mean, like the Gate Colossus. What was it? Gate Colossus was that card's name? Yeah, Gate Colossus. Give enough gates, that thing can be can be cast for free. So there is that. Spectacle, as we'll get to, is an alternative activation cost, but I don't think it'll allow you to cast anything for free, honestly. I'm just looking here real quick at some cards here. I'm trying to see if this is even Lavina. I don't think this is Lavina we're seeing in the packaging art here. But anyway, yeah, so Lavina, I would think, is a good card in the right deck. At least we know that first ability would be active. Whether or not it can't cast cards with converted mana cost greater than the number of lands you control. So basically, it's going to limit your opponents. If they have only 1 mana, they can't cast non-creature spells except that are 1 mana, so forth and so on. They need to increase their land so they can play more spells. So she would slow things down, but she's also has no protection, so she's squishy. If you can give protection to her, okay. Then you get the packaging. On the box, you have this Azorius Mage. I think this is probably the Azorius Guild Mage. Same with the Simic character. It's a Simic Guild Mage and the Rakdos Guild Mage, or it would be their respective names, guild hall names, of like the Combine Mage, Senate Mage, so forth and so on. You have Kaya there, or Kaya, Hansel. You have Kaya there. We know she took over the Azorius, and we have Domarad there. We know he took over the guild. And then you have the Planeswalker decks, which reveal that it is in fact Dovin Vaughn, so he is the guy who took it. His art also looks a bit different here too. He looks a bit more humanoid. His head's doesn't seem as off. And that's really about it in terms of the promo art we got, not promo, but the packaging art we had. And then, give me 1 second, I want to. Okay, noise. It's still off there for the noise in the trailer. Then we Then we have found out what Spectacle does. It is an alternative casting cost card. The two cards that show what it does is Raptor Demon and Rick's Mighty Reveler. We'll do a Reveler first. Reveler. Rick's Mighty Reveler is a 1 red, 1 of any color, 2/2 human shaman, rare creature with Spectacle, 2 of any color, and Rakdos, 1 green or 1 black, 1 red. This spell can be cast for its Spectacle mana cost, for Spectacle cost rather than its regular mana cost if an opponent lost life this turn. So essentially, Spectacle is an alternative casting cost dealt around dealing damage to your opponent's life. In this card's case, it is when it enters the battlefield, discard a card, then draw a card. And if the card's Spectacle cost was paid instead, discard your hand and draw 3 cards. So I like the idea of this card. Now that we know what it does, that the effect actually does for Spectacle, Like the Stage is actually a much more relevant card now, because it's pretty easy to ping for 1 damage without paying mana these days. And I have plenty of decks that card would play a very useful thing. So late game, that card would be actually really effective. In terms of Rick's Mighty Reveler, a 2/2 for 2, that when it enters the battlefield, discard a card, then draw a card. It's not. That's on its own. It's pretty okay. For a 2/2 for 4, 1 black, 1 red, and 2 of any color, that discards your entire hand, then you draw 3. Late game, that might be okay. Or later game, or at least top decking, that might actually be a solid card. But I don't know. And that seems a bit much for a card that doesn't do anything else while it's on the field. Afterwards, it's a spell with a body. That's basically it. The spell with a body, and the spell effect resolves and nothing else happens. Similar to with Raptor Demon. Raptor Demon, though, I'll at least give credit that it has a bigger body on it, so it can last a bit longer. Raptor Demon is a 4/2 for, again, Rakdos mana, 4 mana, so 1 red, 1 black, 2 of any color, with a Spectacle cost of just 1 extra mana, so 3 of any color, 1 black, 1 red. And when it enters the battlefield, if you paid its Spectacle cost, each opponent discards a card. Again, but this is a common. So common, it's a 4/2 for 4, 1 of each color plus 2, which isn't terrible. It's at least can take out some blockers, but its butt doesn't last long enough to really make any relevant impact. And even if you paid its Spectacle cost, yeah, if you're on a 1-on-1 game, you'll have your opponent discard a card. Whoa. I mean, that being said, combine it with the Haunt of, what was it? The Haunt of High Tower. Then you can make this guy work. You could make this guy work with the Haunt of High Tower. Yeah, that's interesting. The promo apparently said it was a rare, but the actual card is a mythic rare. Yeah, who knows? Anyway, because that did seem a bit powerful even for a rare. Not too overpowered, but did seem either rare or mythic status, so it makes sense to be mythic. So yeah, you combine it with a card like that, then you get a little bit more play value from it. But ultimately, meh. For a common, it's fine, but I could just see myself playing other cards out of the set, probably out of the guild. And then we got the trailer, which I will not have up here, but we start on a Simic chamber. Basically, people looking like fetuses, basically being grown more or less, or altered. You see an Orzhov Knight Mage. See, I'm not big on the Orzhov guild for a playing style, though I do have 1 or 2 Orzhov decks. Because what is it? A delve. That was the word. I delve into all the colors. That's why I know what colors I like to use and what don't in combination. But I will always say this: the Orzhov have some. Even though Simic's my guild, Orzhov has always had some gorgeous looking art to it. Always has. And I believe you have some characters talking about, the concept of the guilds. And you get Demerad, depending on his pronunciation. I don't know his actual pronunciation. Is it Rod or Rad? Let me know. you have him narrate at the end because he shows up. And we have this Orzhov woman who's kind of like this countess. I'm guessing she's a vampire because I think she's either got wine or blood in a glass, and she does look kind of vampire-esque. You get a law mage with basically a blueprint player, see-through paper with the guild. The future plastic paper. Again, yeah, I like these. I like it's basically like these Orzhov thugs, more or less. Just like, oh, looks like you're a little late on your taxes there, buddy. Again, though, love that art there. Then you get what I don't know if this is supposed to be a Simic creation, or I think these are supposed to kind of be Thropters flying around. I think. Which is going to be dealing with Azorius because Dovin in control. You get basically a Azorius mage who is... Oh, I love the art on this woman. Then you see Domarad riding a giant boar, which is awesome, with a helmet and looks like goggles. And you can actually see the goggles are actually curved over like horns, which loving the art, loving that. You see Domarad there. He's now the Gruul leader. We know that. He's got this interesting axe club made of bone. We see this Simic mage of some kind. I don't know exactly what it is, but he's looking like he's either a man turned partly fish or a fish turned partly something else. So maybe mer-focused. Then you see these Rakdos guys basically doing the whole throwing the knives at the guy. And then you see this guy with crab arms on his shoulders. And that's kind of... In fact, wait a minute. I think this might be the same guy. Hold on one second. Is this the same guy? Let me check this real quick. You know, it's hard to tell, but I think it might be the same dude after a little alteration. And yeah, that's pretty hardcore. That is really cool, actually. The crab arms on your shoulders is an extra pair of arms. And then you get a shot of the big man himself there, Rakdos, who's awake and ready to play. I mean, I'm interested to see what Rakdos' power abilities. I have the recent Rakdos in one of my decks. I do enjoy him. He's just big and meaty. Then and then I believe the trailer closes with this. With some guy basically rallying a dragon to him. It's a Gruul guy, I know that. Ultimately, there's not a lot of focus the focus is a little sporadic. It's just kind of giving you an idea of the guilds and how everything's going. But even in the Return to Ravnica or Guilds of Ravnica trailer, you still got an idea of the story, at least mildly. Or at least you got an idea of what was kind of happening a bit on the plane. So, I don't know. I think I like the Guilds of Ravnica trailer a little better. But hey, like I said, at least 2 of my 3 favorite guilds are in this set. I mean, because my 3 favorite guilds are Izzet, Simic, and Gruul. I played Izzet the last one, had a good time. And now I have Gruul and Simic. I'm going Simic, but if by chance I can't be Simic, I'm going Gruul. Till then, though, that is my thoughts on this. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. And ideas for who would win. Star Wars, Superior Magic, what if, anything I do on the channel, put that in the comments below. Let me know. I'll get to that at some point. So stay tuned for the who would win. And the week of what if starts this week. So there'll be a what if, or starts today. So there will be a what if later today, what if tomorrow through Sunday. So keep your eyes up for those. Thanks for watching. See you next time, folks.